According to the National Electrical Code Article 400.7, the use of single-conductor cables is permitted for industrial installations, including portable equipment. However, the following requirements must be met. Firstly, the conductors must be properly sized for the load. Secondly, the conductors must be protected against overcurrent. Thirdly, the equipment must be properly grounded. And fourthly, the portable power cables must be of a type suitable for the intended use. Now let's discuss conductor sizing. Ensuring that the conductors are appropriately sized for the load is paramount. This involves calculating the full load amps of the motor and selecting conductors with an ampacity rating that meets or exceeds this value. The National Electrical Code provides tables that specify the ampacity of various conductor sizes based on their insulation type and operating temperature. For a 150 horsepower motor, careful consideration must be given to the starting current, which can be several times higher than the full load current. This inrush current must be accounted for when sizing the conductors to prevent voltage drop and potential damage to the motor or conductors. Overcurrent protection is another critical aspect of electrical safety. Overcurrent devices, such as fuses or circuit breakers, are designed to protect conductors and equipment from excessive current that could lead to overheating and fire. The National Electrical Code specifies the maximum allowable overcurrent protection for different types of conductors and equipment. Proper coordination of overcurrent devices is essential to ensure that the circuit is protected without nuisance tripping. This involves selecting devices with appropriate time current characteristics to allow for motor starting currents without interrupting the circuit. Grounding is a fundamental safety practice that provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source. This helps to quickly trip over current devices and minimize the risk of electric shock. The National Electrical Code requires that all electrical equipment be properly grounded, including motors, enclosures, and raceways. Grounding conductors must be sized according to the National Electrical Code tables and must be securely connected to the grounding electrode system. The grounding electrode system typically consists of a ground rod, ground plate, or connection to the building's metal frame. The type of portable power cable used must be suitable for the intended application. Factors to consider include the voltage rating, temperature rating, flexibility, and resistance to abrasion, chemicals, and moisture. Type W portable power cable is commonly used in industrial applications due to its rugged construction and ability to withstand harsh environments. However, it is essential to ensure that the cable is properly rated for the specific voltage, current, and environmental conditions of the installation. Additionally, the cable must be installed and supported in accordance with the National Electrical Code requirements to prevent damage and ensure safe operation. Considering the underwriter's laboratory's listing and rating is very important. The underwriter's laboratory's listing and rating of electrical equipment and components provide assurance that the products have been tested and meet established safety standards. The underwriter's laboratory's listing indicates that the product has been evaluated for specific hazards and complies with the applicable requirements. The underwriter's laboratory's rating specifies the product's performance capabilities, such as voltage, current, and temperature. When selecting electrical equipment, it is essential to choose products that are underwriter's laboratories listed and rated for the intended application. This helps to ensure that the equipment is safe, reliable, and compliant with the National Electrical Code requirements. Manufacturer's guidance should be observed. The manufacturer's guidance provides valuable information about the proper installation, operation, and maintenance of electrical equipment. Manufacturers often provide specific recommendations for using their products in different applications. It is essential to follow the manufacturer's guidance to ensure that the equipment is installed and operated safely and effectively. Ignoring the manufacturer's guidance can lead to equipment damage, safety hazards, and potential code violations. If there are any questions or concerns about the proper use of electrical equipment, it is always best to consult with the manufacturer or qualified electrical professional. Now, let's delve deeper into the considerations for using single conductor cables for motor loads in industrial recycle crushing applications. The National Electrical Code provides specific guidelines for the installation and use of electrical equipment in hazardous locations. These guidelines are intended to minimize the risk of explosion or fire due to the presence of flammable gases, vapors, or dust. If the recycle crushing plant is located in a hazardous location, it is essential to comply with the National Electrical Code requirements for that location. This may involve using explosion-proof equipment, intrinsically safe circuits, or other special precautions. To ensure compliance with the National Electrical Code requirements and to follow the manufacturer's guidance, consider the following recommendations. Firstly, use multi-conductor portable power cables for all motors, including the large crusher motors. Secondly, ensure that the cables are properly sized, protected against overcurrent, and grounded. And thirdly, hardwire the cables to the starters and motors. Multi-conductor portable power cables offer several advantages over single-conductor cables in motor applications. They provide better protection against mechanical damage, reduce the risk of phase-to-phase faults, and simplify installation. Multi-conductor cables are also typically more flexible and easier to handle than single-conductor cables. When selecting multi-conductor cables, it is important to choose a cable type that is suitable for the intended application. Factors to consider include the voltage rating, temperature rating, flexibility, and resistance to abrasion, chemicals, and moisture. Ensure that the cables are properly sized to carry the full load current of the motor, taking into account the starting current and any directing factors. Overcurrent protection is essential to protect the cables and motor from damage due to overloads or short circuits. The overcurrent devices should be sized according to the National Electrical Code requirements and coordinated to prevent nuisance tripping. Grounding is critical for safety and should be implemented in accordance with the National Electrical Code requirements. The grounding conductor should be sized according to the National Electrical Code tables and securely connected to the grounding electrode system. Hardwiring the cables to the starters and motors provides a more secure and reliable connection than using cord connectors. Hardwiring eliminates the risk of loose connections, which can lead to overheating and potential fire hazards. When hardwiring cables, it is important to use proper termination techniques and to ensure that the connections are tight and secure. This approach will provide a safer and more reliable installation that is compliant with the National Electrical Code and the manufacturer's recommendations. In addition to the above considerations, it is also important to conduct regular inspections and maintenance of the electrical system. This includes checking for loose connections, damaged cables, and malfunctioning equipment. Any problems should be addressed promptly to prevent potential safety hazards or equipment failures. Regular maintenance can help to extend the life of the electrical equipment and ensure that it operates safely and efficiently. Furthermore, consider the specific application of the recycle crushing plant. Recycle crushing plants often operate in harsh environments with exposure to dust, moisture, and vibration. These conditions can accelerate the deterioration of electrical equipment and increase the risk of failures. To mitigate these risks, it is important to select equipment that is specifically designed for use in harsh environments. This may involve using enclosures with higher ingress protection ratings, cables with abrasion-resistant jackets, and motors with sealed bearings. Additionally, it is important to implement a regular cleaning and maintenance program to remove dust and debris from the electrical equipment. This will help to prevent overheating and corrosion and extend the life of the equipment. Also, it is necessary to consider the portability of the recycle crushing plant. The fact that the plant is portable and moves frequently adds another layer of complexity to the electrical installation. Portable electrical equipment is subject to more mechanical stress and vibration than stationary equipment. This can increase the risk of damage to cables, connectors, and other components. To minimize these risks, it is important to use flexible cables that are designed for portable applications. These cables should be supported properly to prevent strain on the connections. Additionally, it is important to inspect the electrical equipment regularly for signs of damage or wear. Any damaged components should be replaced promptly to prevent potential safety hazards. It is advisable to consider the use of quick disconnect connectors to facilitate the connection and disconnection of electrical equipment during plant moves. These connectors should be underwriters' laboratories listed and rated for the intended voltage, current, and environmental conditions. Quick disconnect connectors can save time and effort during plant moves and reduce the risk of damage to the electrical equipment. Moreover, the generator powering the plant should be considered. The fact that the plant is powered by a 600 kilowatt generator rather than utility power has implications for the electrical installation. Generators can have different characteristics than utility power, such as voltage regulation, frequency stability, and harmonic distortion. It is important to ensure that the generator is properly sized for the load and that it provides stable and reliable power. The generator should be equipped with appropriate protection devices, such as overcurrent protection, overvoltage protection, and undervoltage protection. These devices will help to protect the generator and the connected equipment from damage due to electrical faults. The generator should also be properly grounded in accordance with the National Electrical Code requirement. Grounding the generator helps to minimize the risk of electric shock and provides a lower impedance path for fault current to return to the source. Regular maintenance of the generator is essential to ensure that it operates reliably. This includes checking the oil level, coolant level, and air filter. The generator should also be inspected regularly for signs of wear or damage. Furthermore, it is important to document the electrical installation thoroughly. Proper documentation is essential for troubleshooting, maintenance, and future modifications to the electrical system. The documentation should include wiring diagrams, equipment specifications, and installation details. The wiring diagrams should show the location of all electrical equipment, the size and type of conductors, and the overcurrent protection devices. The equipment specifications should include the manufacturer's name, model number, voltage rating, current rating, and other relevant information. The installation details should include the date of installation, the name of the installer, and any special instructions or precautions. The documentation should be kept in a safe and accessible location and updated whenever changes are made to the electrical system. This documentation will prove invaluable for future maintenance and troubleshooting efforts, ensuring the long-term safety and reliability of the electrical installation. When in doubt, consult with a qualified electrical professional. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to have the knowledge and skills to perform the work safely. If there are any questions or concerns about the electrical installation, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrical professional. A qualified electrical professional can assess the situation, provide expert advice, and perform the work in accordance with the National Electrical Code requirements. Consulting with a qualified electrical professional can help to ensure that the electrical installation is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember, safety should always be the top priority when working with electricity. By following the recommendations outlined above and consulting with qualified professionals when needed, you can create a safe and reliable electrical installation for the industrial recycle crushing application. Consider this comprehensive approach to ensure the longevity and efficiency of your electrical systems. Finally, consider future scalability and upgrades. While addressing the immediate electrical needs of the recycle crushing plant, it's also wise to consider future scalability and potential upgrades. This involves anticipating potential increases in power demand due to expansions or the addition of new equipment. Planning for future needs can prevent costly and disruptive modifications later on. This might include installing larger capacity conductors or raceways than currently required, or selecting electrical equipment with higher ratings to accommodate future loads. Also, it's important to stay informed about advancements in electrical technology and energy efficiency. Implementing energy-efficient solutions not only reduces operating costs but also contributes to environmental sustainability. Consider incorporating features like variable frequency drives for motor control, LED lighting, and power factor correction to optimize energy usage. Periodically reviewing and updating the electrical system in accordance with evolving industry standards and best practices ensures that the plant remains efficient, safe, and adaptable to future needs. In summary, The key to a successful and compliant electrical installation for the industrial recycle crushing application lies in a thorough understanding of the National Electrical Code, adherence to manufacturers' guidelines, and a commitment to safety. By carefully considering conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, grounding, cable selection, and the specific requirements of the application, you can create an electrical system that is both reliable and safe for years to come. Remember to prioritize safety in all aspects of the electrical installation, and when in doubt, always seek the advice of a qualified electrical professional.